failure to overcome this resistance level at 3300 to 3320 on last Thursday actually confirmed the weakness, and subsequently the tight consolidation during the Asian session showing inability to lift up and confirm the weakness again, and hence we see this kind of the capitulation bar to the downside and actually tested the support level at around 3230. So this actually presents a very good opportunity to trade the reversal and using the multiple time frame analysis, which I will elaborate a bit more in the trade review section, especially focusing in these two bars to scale in my trades in the 3 minutes time frame. Hi, my name is Ming Jong and welcome to another episode of the daily market analysis for the S&P 500 E-minis futures for the session of 2nd of November. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the market recap from yesterday's session, actually should be the last Friday's session, and I will also cover the trade review, which I will just include the entry, the exits, and also the rationale behind. And definitely going forward, I will also share my trading plan together with the levels that I'm watching for the session later. All right. So let's just get started. So let me just first of all get down to the daily time frame and let's just start from there. So as you can see in this daily chart, there are quite a few things stands out to me. First of all, we see this capitulation bar to the downside, enter into the oversold condition. So that's the down channel. So that's the oversold channel. So definitely this is the oversold condition, and with a spike of the supply. So just look at the swelling of the volume in the past few trading sessions. And another thing that stands out is definitely there is a shortening of the downward thrust. So suggests that the down momentum is fading, and that actually happened right at this supporting area at around 3200 to 3230, and with the swelling of the volume, I think that actually present some kind of the meaningful interpretation, which I will just explain a bit more in the later part of the video. So before that, let me just get down to the hourly time frame and let's talk about what's happening for the last Friday session. So last Friday, as you can see it during the Globex period, we have this very tight consolidation that's just come right after the failure to commit above the resistance level. And that actually really shows the inability to lift up. So it's kind of entering into the apex formation and eventually just break to the downside with this kind of the big bearish bar. But despite having this kind of the big bearish bar, it actually just tested the support level at around 3230. So this is the previous swing low level. So if I just quickly zoom out here, you can see that this is the previous swing low and somewhere around there and also here as well. So definitely just touching this support level. And I think this is a relatively good sign because it just shows that the level is working, because right after this, we see that there is a small spread bar with some demand tail and followed by a good rally up. So there is some sort of the reaction right from this level. So definitely this is a good support level. And subsequently, you can see that during the US opening session, there are quite a few touches, and especially after this tiny little spring type of the action and followed by a recovery to the upside during the last hour. So overall, I think that we have definitely see this kind of the down momentum is fading with the shortening of the downward thrust, and especially with this little tiny spring type of action, and we have started a nice rally in the last hour. So there is quite a few chances going from here on, whether it is to test the downside again, should the market show some weakness, or to rally up from here on. But let me just leave this to the end of the video. First of all, let me show you the 3 minutes time frame, and let me elaborate a bit more how I actually use the multiple time frame analysis to scale in my reversal trade. So let me just grab to the London European session here. All right, so before I dive straight in, let me give you a bit of the context. So you can see that this is the previous day, on Thursday, US session. So we have a failure here. So that's actually failed to overcome the 3320 or actually 33,000 level. And subsequently, during the Asian session, we have seen this kind of the very tight consolidation. So right after this reaction down, we have seen no lift to the upside. So you can see that the upwave is just tiny, and eventually it just have this sort of the reaction down, and with the increasing of the volume. But let me just blow this up. Okay, so you can clearly see this volume. So we have a increasing of the volume with the climatic of the downswing. So definitely this is kind of a selling climax. So my trade is actually based on, first of all, this kind of the selling climax hitting the support level at 3230. So this is a natural place for the price to hold and reverse from here. But definitely we can't purely rely on the support, and we actually need to look at the price action together with the volume to confirm that there is some kind of the demand presence. So let me show you this. So you can see that right after this kind of the selling climax hitting the support level at 3230, and we see this change of character upwave. So this is the best upwave that we have ever seen from this Dow channel or the Dow swing here. So definitely this is the best upwave that we have ever seen. So it acted as a change of character to actually stop this downtrend and entering into this kind of the consolidation. So my first entry as a prompt entry, actually just based on this. So we have seen this kind of the change of character, suggesting the downtrend has been stopped. And subsequently, because of the increasing of the supply level to the downswing, I am actually waiting for another test. So here's the test with the decreasing of the supply level. So this downswing actually is a test of the prior down move. So right after that, I just use this bar as my confirmation bar to reverse that, and I just enter my long entry. So this is my first entry. You can see that subsequently I have another entry right at this bar here, somewhere around maybe 320 or 325. So the reason that I scale in the trade is very simple, because in this 3 minutes time frame, you probably cannot really tell apart from that we see that the supply has been decreasing and there are some kind of the demand pickup, but it's not very obvious. But take a look at the hourly time frame. So I'm not sure if you're aware on this hourly time frame, but it certainly is a very good tools to do the multiple time frame analysis. So just pay attention to this two bar alone. Maybe let me just blow this up again, and we want to see this volume. So you can see that this two bar, the first bar is actually a reaction bar. We have a big bearish bar, big spread, bearish bar, and close near the low. And the second bar here is actually a very small spread bar with a bit of the demand tail showed up. Take a look at the volume here. So these two bars containing the similar volume, and that suggested that in the second bar, with a similar efforts to push the price down, what we have is actually a small spread bar, unlike the previous big bearish spread, and also the results to the downside is actually some kind of the demand tail. So unlike we are having traveling this much distance to the downside, in this bar we only travel kind of tiny bit here. So that actually suggested that partial or majority of the volume in the second bar consists of the demand. So that actually tell me that there's presence of the demand in this bar. So you can see that this is 2 p.m. at my time zone. So that actually can confirm that there's definitely some demand come in, and that's why I just scale in my trade at around, let me show you, about 320. Let me track this a bit. Okay, so that's somewhere around 327. So in terms of the demand, definitely we see that from the multiple time frame analysis in the hourly time frame, which I showed you earlier on. And in terms of the structure, so we have this downswing followed by a test, and subsequently you can see the upsloping structure forming, and this is another reversal bar. So I just enter this trade very close to about 3:30 p.m. my time zone. And if you pay closer look here, so this is another Wyckoff structure itself. So we have this kind of the accumulation structure followed by a sign of strength rally, backing up, and then started the marking up portion here. So eventually my trailing stop actually got triggered somewhere around here because I just put it just underneath the swing low here, but probably it's too close and it just take out my trailing stop and lock in the profit. That's somewhere around a reward to risk ratio of about 2.6, so which is not too bad. But if you can just manage the trade properly, then you probably can just ride through this trading range and eventually can probably take the position out somewhere around there, so to squeeze in a few more points. All right, so this is the trade review during the during the London European session. And let me just quickly show you the possible trades in the US session, because I wasn't trading during the US session. So I could just show you some of the trades I think that could form a very nice entry. So you can see that this one is actually, let me track this. Okay. So this is a pretty straightforward trade. So we have a swing high here that formed during the non-regular trading hours, the Globex period, and subsequently during the US opening session, we have seen attempt to break out and then followed by a failure. So the up thrust, force breakout, and eventually have this kind of the sign of weakness. So depending on your strategy, you probably can trade enter right at these few bars. Otherwise, you might just wait for a pullback. So this is a sign of weakness, a pullback, followed by a reversal. So this could be a nice entry to ride the trend down to the support level again at 32.30, and then eventually it just bounce up again. So depending on your strategy, you can buy the low, sell the high, or maybe just trade this kind of the false breakout or the uptrust. All right. So this is the trade review, and let me just get to the hourly time frame and let's talk about the current market condition. So right now, with the US election is just about a day or two away, is certainly provide a lot of the uncertainty to the market. And for the past few trading sessions, and we have seen the market just keep grinding down. So this certainly look bearish, but if you just pay attention to the price action, it actually provides some telltale signs. So firstly, like I mentioned, there is certainly the shortening of the downward thrust. So the thrust to the downside is getting shorter and shorter. So that suggests the exhaustion of the down momentum. So by having that is not enough. And the other supporting factor is it just tested the support area at around 32.30. So 32.30 is another level to watch because it is a support area and it just rebound from here. So the final thing that I would need to seek confirmation is definitely need to overcome this resistance zone at 3300 to 3330. So if you can just overcome this level or simply just hang around forming some kind of the shallow type of the reaction, then there's a chance to go up to test the resistance level at probably first level is 3400 and subsequently will be this level at around 3460. So this is the most bullish case, and the other scenario that I probably anticipate is some kind of the weakness show up, whether it's via the election or whether it's triggered by the coronavirus, confirmed cases, shutdown, loss of the different kind of the things. Then if we see further weakness, market is going down, then I think definitely it will just test the swing low at around 3200. So you can see that here is the 3230 and here is the swing low at 3200 level. So we could probably see this kind of the test and then followed by a reversal up. And then that could maybe coincide with the election day because extreme volatility is expected during the election day, and even we have seen some kind of the capitulation temporary to the downside, I will not be surprised. And let me show you in 2016, that election day, that kind of the price action. Let me just quickly find that based on the volume. Yeah, I think that should be the one. Let me just zoom in a bit. So let's just have a quick look in last election and what happened to the market in terms of the volatility. So you can see that I believe this is the election day with a spike of the volume. And definitely you see this kind of the big spread going down, taking out all the previous swing low, and eventually just reverse up and close at the high and actually just started a bull run here. So this kind of the volatility can be expected on the election day based on the last election. So let me just quickly go back to the current time frame. And so far, we are still right at the support level, support zone. But that doesn't really necessarily mean that it can't really break down. So some of the things that we need to watch out is extreme volatility on the election day itself. It probably maybe can go out a bit now, and during the election day, maybe it could just form this kind of the hammer, big hammer, going up, something like this, and take out the previous low, or maybe even tested another level, possibly 3100. So this kind of the volatility can be expected. So we just need to wait for the price to unfold. And for the session later on, I'm actually looking either side. So definitely because 3300 is still a resistance level. So if you can just have some kind of the rejection to the downside, then you probably still can trade it down. Otherwise, 3230, based on the previous swing low, we have seen some rebound from there. So just look for reversal, a trade at the key levels here. All right. So this is the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it and get something useful out from the video. So if you like the video, just click like and also hover to my name or picture to follow me. And do remember to subscribe to my channel so that you get instant notification of my future video ideas. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you soon.